everyone. It's Pastor Phil. I was thinking about the cheap seats. I don't know about you, but have you ever sit in the cheap seats at a football game and the football players look like ants because you're so far up in the balcony? Or maybe you're at the circus and you're in the cheap seats. That's the seats that are so high up the elephants look like grasshoppers. What I want to talk to you just for a couple minutes today is about seeking God. You see, seeking God puts us in the frame of mind to where we can expect miracles. We can joyfully expect God to come on our behalf when we see His face or seek His face. Seeking God increases our expectations. You see, God wants to sanctify every part of you. He wants us to be set apart for His purpose. He wants to sanctify your imagination so you can dream God dreams. He wants to sanctify your imagination so you can be motivated to dream big things for God. Sitting on the front row, seeking God, makes God look bigger. He's always huge. He is big, but in our minds, sometimes the cares of life steal things from us. It steals the size that God's supposed to be in our lives, sitting on the throne of our hearts. The early believers had sanctified expectations. In Acts, I believe it's chapter 2, it says that they were filled with awe. Let me ask you a question today. When was the last time you were filled with awe in the presence of God? When was the last time you wasn't in the cheap seat in the way back row, but you're on the front row and God was right there with you, speaking to you, talking to you, and doing great things in your life? That's what the early church had. They had sanctified expectations. Profound statement. How big something is doesn't depend on how big it is. It depends on how far away you are from it. Sometimes we get so far away from God that He looks like, we talked about the elephants, looking like a grasshopper. But perspective changes when we get closer to Him. So I'll tell you today, or ask you today, seek God. Get on the front row and see what He's going to do today. Sit on the front row and ask Him for big things. Sit on the front row and just look into His face. Hold that thought. God is huge. He's always huge. He created the heavens and the earth, the galaxies, the universe. He's huge. But sitting in the cheap seat, sometimes He looks small because our problems have gotten so big. So let's get on the front row and let's seek God. Let me tell you, sometimes sin, or all the time, sin makes us further and further away from God, so it makes Him look smaller and smaller. So if there's something in your life today, I'd ask that you ask the Lord to forgive you, get closer to Him, and sit on the front row and see how big your God is. And maybe, just like the early church, you and I can be filled with awe as we're sitting on the front row. This is Pastor Phil. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next week.